Hi everyone, welcome to Business is the Chat. My name is Mulewakhe Matipili. I'm a strategic consultant and I am the face of Mo Salute and the host of Business is the Chat. So let me give you a brief background of what Mo Salute does. So Mo Salute is a strategic driven company where I develop business ideas, host strategy sessions and brainstorming sessions, where I help you execute your dreams if you don't know how. I also create programs and projects for anything that you want to like venture into. And so the reason for Business is the Chat is to network, to connect people, to learn from entrepreneurs, and to to learn about their challenges. Because part of what I do is from the challenges, I get to find out better solutions to create an opportunity out of them. So yeah, and most importantly, I want my guest speakers to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs, to educate other entrepreneurs about their field, and touch base on excuse me on like the core details of the business side of things. Because we can learn a lot from each other. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Kolo. Kolo, would you kindly introduce yourself, tell us about the club you own, and what makes your club special?
Good morning, everybody. Yes, my name is Kholu Mthembu, also known as Kholu Dakuru. So I own a hospitality group called Luma Hospitality Group. We own Luma Sunsets, which is a sun deck. We also own Rich Durban nightclub. We also have views at 25, the rooftop. We also have other restaurants, cafes, and coffee shops. Yeah, so that's Guru. That's who I am. I'm the CEO. I've been in the industry for over 15 years, but professionally, and I've done as a kid. I've been just doing events and being a promoter. But as time went by, I started acquiring shares in spaces, and now I own these spaces, and I'm also in a bit of property business as well at the moment.
Oh, sorry, I'm on mute. So, Kolo, sorry about that. I was on mute.
It's okay. I was wondering, maybe I'm supposed to go on. No, it's fine.
So, what
Yeah.
makes your club views at 25th? Why that name?
What makes it what? What makes it what? So what makes views unique? What makes views at 25 unique? It's because it's a hybrid space. When I say hybrid space, like it can start as a day cafe, later as a sunset bar, and then as the night progresses, then it's a high energy space. It is a rooftop. It's facing one of the most beautiful iconic stadium, which is Moses Mabhida. It's become known for great food and great service, and we come up with a lot of experiential events. So it's not just we have people coming through and it's just good service and product. We also curate moments that make someone to say, yes, I've never seen that, and I want to come back, or I want to bring a friend to come and experience this moment that we have.
Thank you so much. I was going through your page. Yeah. yeah, Tafa, like I almost said a vulgar word, but yay, it's lit there. I want to come there. I need to come there actually.
You must come. You
Um,
must come.
most definitely. Kamu, are you ready? You are next. You are on mute.
Am I on mute?
Yeah,
Okay, no, all right. Should I go ahead? Can you hear me?
yeah, you can go ahead.
Morning, everybody. Thank you for taking time to obviously, come onto the show. My name is Kamupiri. Um, I also go by the moniker of the Giant of the North. I represent the Booth Entertainment Group, which owns Booth Santon, Room 130 Bar, as well as the Opium Room in Santon and Parkmore. We have one building that accommodates three spaces. I'll try and describe each space as best as possible. Room 130 Bar is an Afro-urban bar concept, which includes Afro-urban cuisine, as well as a high-end aesthetic that obviously attracts your more premium Afro customers in the Santon area. Um, the Opium Room. The Opium Room is a quaint 18-table space with premium design and aesthetic as well that we offer to people who are doing smaller scale events or let's say private parties and private functions. But during the lockdown period, we've actually been able to utilize it now more for uh, day-to-day experiences. So, for instance, if we have an overflow in room 130 bar, we can have people in the opium room as well. It's got a different sound setup, different everything in there. Then we go to the Beast. The Beast is Santon. Oh, sorry, Boot Santon. Boot Santon is originally Sway. People knew it as Sway back in the day. But now it is Boot Santon. It is a premium champagne bar and lounge. Probably, yeah, top three or four high end bars currently in Africa. Are we good?
You're on mute. You're on mute, Mo.
And, oh, sorry about that. So I'm saying, Kamu, I've been to Booth there, but I was there for like 5 minutes because I had to. Because you guys, ka 12, ke gone batho ba tlang ko monateng. Oh my God, yo, hey, okay. So
Yeah,
nice.
it's
Kita bona next time.
no problem. You're more than welcome anytime.
I will. Gabelo, are you ready? You are up next.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I am Kabelo Mukotla, representing Many Lifestyle with our sister clubs, which is Mink Lounge in Deep Grove,
Gabelo,
which
please
is
hold on.
famous.
Yes, you can continue. I just wanted to put you on a solo platform.
Thank you. I was at introducing
Gabelo,
some
can
of
you hear us?
our. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, you can continue.
Okay, I'll start. I'll start again. Thank you very much for the invitation, Elebo.
Yes.
I'm Kabelo representing Many Lifestyle, Mink Lounge, rich and famous North Cliff. Our clubs are based in the townships. Women Lifestyle is coming from Amasaking in the Ren West. Mink Lounge is in Deep Clove, Soweto, rich and famous. Then it's Donglo one in the north where we just established it now in April. We represent the piano movement that is happening in the township. Most of all, our highlights in Hulumen is an event that we did when we commemorated with our late brothers of the piano industry, which was Bukilakao, Yompora, and Yotot. We mostly pushing the piano brand and making sure that we are moving it with some of the artists here in the townships. Just established now in December, Mink Lounge established now in May during the tough times of COVID. The pandemic obviously giving us challenges, but we are trying our best to make sure that the entertainment space in terms of our pubs and our restaurant nightclubs, they are pushing. That's basically us with no much experience, but then in terms of business wise, we also have a security company and a cleaning company with 10 years more experience. But then in the entertainment, we just got introduced now. But we are pushing very well, especially in the Rand West, where challenges are there, and obviously we do have our positive side when it comes to the entertainment space. Thank you.
So, Kabelo, what makes okay, maybe you can mention one of the club. What makes it unique?
The unique part of Ulumeni lifestyle is that we push the brand in terms of our piano music. We have great support in terms of the youth. Mostly, obviously, the youth comes from the ages of 21 and 35. The unique part of it is that Rona, we are the dancers in the club, vibrant as we are.
Thank you so much. So speaking of your clubs being unique, can you guys please share with 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 us your entrepreneurial journey and how you got introduced to the space? Kolo, are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yo, so mina ngi-outside kasi Soweto. Never had any mentoring on business. I just been exposed through what I could at the time. So my mother was a social worker, and my grandmother was one of the first shipping queens, Soweto Mroka. And obviously through that, I managed to pick up certain records, my father's records. When my father divorced, he left the records at home. A lot of stuff, he left it there. So that's when I started understanding the culture of music and understanding the hospitality business as a whole. And my passion has always been events. I never really thought I'll be a businessman where now I can hire people and own properties and build developments. But so just being that and my exposure in my experience in eventing, I met a lot of people, and eventually someone said you must study advertising, and I studied advertising. I did some brand building for a lot of international brands, but a part of me was like, you need to be in the space of hospitality and events. And when I moved to Durban, I approached a couple of hotels, restaurants, nightclubs at the time, and I came up with strategies on how they can get the market that we have now as they call it the main market, the high, like Amayembati, the black diamonds. But through that, because at the time the venues were owned by white people and Indian people. So I saw a gap to say, let me bring you these people who will come and spend a lot of money. And time went by. Fast forward, I started acquiring my shares in some of the nightclubs, profit share, not even owning the equity. But I said, no, I need more. I need to own my own place. If I'm not gonna just promote in DAO and just be excited, Uti, there's just a lot of girls. I'm making money at the door. I need to own, because then that's when I can grow. Fast forward, where I am now is a self-made, entrepreneur. No rich father, no rich mother, no tenders. I've never done tenders in my life, but I've always seen a gap in marketing, and I've always said, okay, here is a gap. Guys want our big spenders. Here's an opportunity in the culture where a lot of black people, a lot of white and Indian people did not understand. I understood it. So there was a culture, it grew here, Durban Kwaito movement. I was a pioneer of Durban Kwaito movement. Myself, Zex Bantuini, DJ Tira, Chinaman, we're part of that culture. When that revolution started, I was pioneering that with the guys. They were producing, I was doing the events. But later it moved. Now there was gom and there was hip hop. Now it's Amapiano. Only now it's in Durban we are starting to understand that. But you still wanna. So what we've now attached our businesses into each culture. So we always say, Guti, if you want to be successful in this industry, especially the nightlife space, you need to attach it to a culture. And it was hard for Durban to get the Papiano movement going on, but we did it. But we now slowly, the guys now understand that if you want to be successful, don't be stubborn about your sound. You gotta give the people what they want. And it's always been about me, Guti. I see an opportunity and I go for it. The restaurant industries where I am now is I saw an opportunity. There were not enough black brothers that were doing this, black entrepreneurs in the restaurant industry. And that's when I saw a gap. I'm like, I'm now want to own it. Now I've taken it further where I'm in the coffee business, and I'm like, I don't want Magama Poda to close us down. And then I can't sell alcohol, then I'm in trouble. Coffee sells from morning till late. So I've now produced my own coffee. In fact, I import it from Italy. I roast it in Italy. I package it and I distribute to primed restaurants in Umhlanga. And I want to roll it out to Durban, and hopefully with my colleagues here we're in the interview with now, maybe one day I can start speaking to them and say, guys, here's a black owned coffee brand, quality AAA brand. Let's do that. Then we can grow like that. So my entrepreneurial journey is pretty much coming from humble background to just seeing an opportunity and just always creating good relationships. And that's pretty much who Hulu is. It's not a guy that was coming from like a spoon fed. It's about a hustle. It's about really being seeing the opportunity and using my hunger and seeing an opportunity to grow and do better and better.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so inspired right now. What? Honestly, I'm so inspired.
Thank
Because
you.
I'm just starting off. I'm just starting off as an entrepreneur. I'm trying to find my feet, and it's tricky, it's hard, it's frustrating because I'm fairly new in the space. But getting to speak to people like you guys, it fuels me up, and I know I can kind of like contact you guys and say, guys, this is what I'm doing. How can I go about it? Hence we are here today.
Yeah.
So, Tamu, are you ready?
Yes, I
Thank
am.
you.
Take it away.
Thank you so much, Mo. Similarly, like Kholo was saying now, my entrepreneurial journey is pretty much the same. I came to South Africa in 2002 to study human resources management after I had traveled to the UK and did a little bit of time in America, just as, a person who was moving up and down. But fast forward, arriving in South Africa, huge culture shock. I'd never actually even experienced South African house culture, is what bombarded me when I got here. And it was so interesting to see how South Africans were so attached to number one entertainment, but specifically the strong house movement. I remember the first DJ that I actually took notice of when I came to this country was Black Coffee. And that was huge for me because I saw the way he orchestrated crowds and like just from this sound, this weird sound that I couldn't make sense of because I obviously naturally was coming from a hip hop background. That time, Afro beats was not necessarily a major factor by then. Slowly over time, as I continued to study VET, I started to put together a few parties, a few events. I was just generally a socialite, and I started taking it to the next level by obviously becoming a member of the SRC. By becoming a member of the SRC, I found myself in a position where I was empowered a little bit more to expand and learn and create more connections within the industry, obviously by booking artists and bringing them to campus, coming up with concepts and stuff like that. Once I completed my BTech degree, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I registered for the masters, but whilst I registered for the masters, a friend of mine approached me and asked me to move to Joburg and start a media company with him, of which I then started a media company with him. And my first job was consulting for a bar and lounge in Randburg, which is where I started to get really infused into the West African culture. Um, I worked for a man by the name of Olatunji. He gave me my first opportunity to promote and to market his venue through different events, through different strategy, and that worked out really well. Moving on from there, and then was approached by the Booth Group, which obviously is owned by Mr. Jaji Abilore now, who was one of the most successful black entrepreneurs in the entertainment space here in the north of Joburg. He really inspired everything that's happening in terms of that Afro-urban movement and creating venues where that can be celebrated. So with that said, that's where the second wave kicked in. The second wave now was the way Afrobeats has taken over the world in terms of it being a phenomenal global like juggernaut in terms of everyone's listening to Afrobeats now. Everyone wants to eat West African food. Everyone wants to, dress and talk like West Africans now in the entertainment space. It became a boom, and that's what allowed the Booth Group to expand because we then were able to offer that in terms of the music that we play, in terms of the way that we present our cuisine at Room 130 Bar, in terms of the way that we just package pretty much the the culture and the lifestyle of the Booth Group. If you notice, if you come to any one of our venues, services at the top of the list of our priorities, as well as obviously us catering to a premium high end market of how I call Afro urban people, like people like us now. I call us the Afro urban like age because we're very urban, we're very Afro, and we accept a lot more than people used to a few years back, if I can say. But in terms of the entrepreneurial journey itself, mine at this stage has always been about building a consulting perspective that I can add value to a particular group or a particular business so that the business can grow and so that a lot of ideas can be channeled through that business in order for things to be better like we're doing at the Boot Group now. Um, Challenges wise, there've been a lot. Obviously, I mean,
What? Tamu, what's going on? Tamu, you on mute. Tamu, yay! What did I do now? Tamu, you on mute. What did you do? Okay, Cabello. While Tamu's trying to fix his audio, can you take it away? Cabello is on mute, Len, or he froze.
Mute.
He's mute. Cabello, Cabello.
Can you hear me, Mo?
Yeah, I can hear you. So like I don't know what's
Okay.
going on with the guy down there.
Mute.
I think it's the network.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
Cabello, can you share with us your business journey? How you got introduced into the space?
Okay, my business journey started outside the entertainment industry, where we come from a family business where we have a company, a security company, where we render most of the services in the local municipalities. What I would say the journey wasn't an easy one because some of us stepped into the family business with situations where we had to step up, where our some of our parents is passed on and had to step up and join the business. So with the entertainment space, when coming to the journey itself, 2019 when we established a pub called SNK, it was given to us as an opportunity where we have to push and make sure that as uh, young people from a small community called Deep Kloof, how do we make sure that we empower most of our DJs with the little resources that we had? Then we established SNK Piano Movement. That journey itself, it was an easy one because of coming from a security business, then moving into entertainment. Obviously, you'll be judged on why would you focus more and put most of your attention in terms of the the entertainment when there's a security business that's pushing. But nevertheless, we made sure that we push for job creation in terms of the youth, and we did maybe I could say come victorious with the piano movement, with the likes and support of most of your DJs, your DJ Stoke, your DJ Stocks, your Farmer, your DJ Jaivani currently that we're working on. The journey itself currently with this pandemic, it was challenging where people didn't even know in terms of certain compliances with the liquor board, certain compliances with the SAPS, where in situations where funding itself needs to be managed in a manner where we need to be strict and make sure that the majority of our employees who are youth, they need to understand how to make sure that they keep their finances running. With that itself, we then expanding in terms of the Rand West municipality, getting introduced to making sure that we introduce a genre in piano in the West End where entertainment itself is a number one factor, but then they needed something that's going to push them in terms of this small artist, upcoming artist, and making sure that they understand that you know in this entertainment space, it's either you do it right the first time, otherwise when it comes to the future, it's going to affect you. The journey itself in terms of business expanded also into the cleaning space, expanded also into the property space, expanded also into farming. Young as we are, we are pushing. So I would say the business journey so far, it's a good experience. And with your booth here, your Moja Cafe, your Conga, we got inspired. We were once customers there. We were once spenders there. Till today, we still spend at booth and we do support each other. But then you come and realize at the end of the day, where you age and you think, but why spend so much into entertainment, but your own local community doesn't have such establishments. I think when Kamo was speaking, he spoke about booth room 180 being the best sellers in terms of champagne. He wanted to introduce champagne in Soweto, wanted to introduce champagne in the West End, and honestly, people now they now understand that it's a lifestyle. If you don't get introduced to the lifestyle right now and the networking with the type of people who come there, you then support each other as a youth and then you grow together. So the journey to me is a great experience. Right now and the networking with the type of people. Yes, correct. That's the most important thing. The networking with the type of people, the connections that expand.
I'm sorry about that. I just had to mute Gamu. He's got background sound.
Yes. So we are at the space now that we are moving, and we are actually looking at opening another one in Masiro, Lesotho. We have one in Lesotho already. It's called Ilibo. So we're trying to expand, move into Africa also, so that we can push together as the youth.
Thank you so much. Yo, guys, like, wow, guys, you guys are doing a lot, hey? Um, so, um, I want to know from your journeys. Obviously, it's been challenging, it's been rough, and whatnot. So, I want to find out what what business journey, or you can share, not business journey, business challenges you can share too, that made you a better entrepreneur today, that can hopefully inspire someone who is watching or who's gonna watch later on. Kolo, are you ready?
Oh, am I next?
Yes, yes.
I've faced a lot of I've faced a lot of challenges because and I think even my other colleagues will here will testify as well. Uguchi, the investors and banks don't really believe in anything that has got alcohol, clubs, parties. They see it as parties. So to build a business plan and go to potential investors and banks, it's a longer red tape. and admin, and it's still hard for a bank to support you. So I've had the worst. I took the worst route, which is pretty much self fund a lot of my establishments, and I started small, and without the right support from the bigger the banks and potential investors. So those are the challenges, man, I've had. I've been lucky. My family always supported whatever I did. When I had to resign and be a club promoter, my mother was not excited, but I had to do it. But I've always worked hard and making sure, Guti, if I believe in something, I'll put my money into it. And that's where, I had the biggest challenges. And also the biggest challenges as well is that when you introduce a trend or an original idea, it takes a while for people to understand. When I introduced bottle service in Durban, this was 2000 and sure, in 2012, and I was trying to explain to people, Uguti, I don't want just messes anymore in my clubs. Only I want to understand, Uguti. I want a balance of having someone also experience service. With more figure in our place establishments, you can sit down and you book a table. You can sit down, then we give you a good service. A lot of people were offended and they didn't understand, which why should we book to be in a club, when we came to dance, but then not understanding Guti, our rates of running a club were high, and my expenses were high. So the game was starting to change where we are trying to give you guys a 5-star clubbing environment. Therefore, we need to give you a 5-star service. But the way you can give a 5-star service, you sitting down, we serve you, but you also pay a tip. And the tip is not just, it's not for me. 5-star service, but the way you can give a 5-star.
I'm sorry about that.
The tip, no problem. The tip is for the staff. It's distributed amongst everybody. It benefits that. So what that does is you make someone's life better. When it's just a normal club environment, umuntu uyafika athenge a bar. Sometimes they tip, they don't tip. So just to change the model of in nightlife as a Durban took me a while. And eventually now a lot of guys have picked up in the trend, which is amazing in Durban. So you can book a table, get experience, and now you've introduced a food element to it. And now what you're doing, creating more job opportunities. No longer just a DJ and a bartender and a security. There's waiters, there's hostesses that carry the bottles and the sparklers. So you are now creating a bigger food chain. So I've had a lot of challenges just changing the model of the business. But we've also now everybody will tell you, Guti, if anyone was in hospitality, we're the hardest hit in COVID. But we had to re-strategize. I've seen my guys. I mean, I'm inspired by a lot of the guys in Joburg as well. From Ekasi to Sentin, I look up to my colleagues here. I look up to a lot of the guys in the industry internationally as well. And the way we had to readjust our model and adjust to lockdown restrictions, and now creating daytime experiences to make people come out early and also retain imsebenzi, because another thing is that we didn't want our guys to suffer, and there's more, and then it creates more crime in our spaces. Later on, I've been a big victim of the big looting that happened with the unrest. I've had those challenges, but I've got a fighting spirit, and my fighting spirit is like I'm not going to allow any negativity bring me down. In fact, when you put me to that test, that's when I push harder and I recreate. And we were looted. One of the guys, few venues that were looted in terms of a nightclub restaurant in Durban, but we've just revamped now. It's looking even better. So the setback was actually a setup for us to have a better comeback. And I always tell my team, all those negativities. It's part of the journey. It's part of our story, and that's why we tell beautiful stories of our establishment, Uti, where we come from. We like doing throwbacks of our places when it was just one chair there, an old second-hand table, a broken you know some broken decor when we're still trying to make it happen, because most all our places, they've never been like 100% like beautiful. Sikala with what we have, and I tell the team, start with what you have. Yes, there are beautiful venues out there, but if you're gonna say I ngizokala the day I have the money to do it, then you're not gonna start. So hire a chair, hire a DJ box, and do it. And then once you start doing it, you put some money aside to revamp. So all our spaces, most of them have been started with the beautiful story of being yabo nje, basazama shem, asibasupport. And we appreciate the people because we are here. We started there. Maybe now moving forward it's different, but we started with just being a usazama uhulu asim supporter, and then we do that. So those challenges are just been there's been a lot of challenges, but those are just one of the few. We've had a shooting where someone died, and now
Oh,
to bring back a brand where someone is shot outside your establishment, it that to people it doesn't matter. It's like someone, they always say, Guti, if someone is drinking outside or total accident, you are still responsible outside your premises because you gave them the alcohol. If someone was in establishment and the outside they're fighting, someone dies. So to really go through that situation where someone dies and someone a close customer to you, and you have to go bury the customer, it really hits you hard. You have to do counseling to go to do counseling for yourself, and also it just your staff. You need to make sure they're okay. So there's a lot of challenges. I can spend the whole day just giving you all the challenges because but with all the challenges, we've managed to find the positivity. How do we bring back? How do we then make sure with our security is better? How do you make sure just over and above that, if you saw a customer like is a bit too drunk or is vulnerable, check up on your customer. If you don't call them directly, I tell my GMs, I tell my managers, my promoters, to check up on that customer. When I saw the customer leaving, he was not okay. So we're doing that now, just over and above, just to make sure our guys are okay. But yeah, we are here today, and thanks to God, we've survived the COVID, survived the looting, we survived the worst experiences in our establishments.
so Kulu, how has like that experience made you a better entrepreneur today?
Which one exactly?
You can choose
The
which
the
one.
the the, the, the so
Yeah,
so
let me.
like I said, what doesn't kill you, it said what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Um,
Yeah.
but the reality is we Tina, we don't understand Iguti, counseling, how important it is. You're growing up single mother, single parent, parents divorce, and then you become a broken man. You can't treat your wife properly, or you become short tempered, do that, and then everything. Yeah, even work. You end up somehow being a certain type of a leader because we fail to understand Uti, there is certain steps that we need to take. And as the black guys, we don't know these things, but I've learned, which you gotta do certain things where you are one, you need to find peace of mind. Okay. So there has to be a time where you switch off your phone, you take a holiday, it can be a short left, don't have to leave the country. You have to be able to take the will your health, what you eat. So somehow when you're experiencing all these things, you need to deal with them holistically in terms of your peace of mind, what you eat, and the relationships that you're building just out of work as well. So I mean, I found a lot of ways of dealing with my tragic moments, my pressure moments, and it has really worked for me. My wife will tell me we're going away on the weekend, and I'll know. I say, baby, but I'm busy. Let's go. But you come back refreshed, less stress, and you become a better person. You become a better leader. You become a better husband. You become a better father. As soon as you start understanding, Wuti, how you balance your entire lifestyle, even though you're facing serious challenges, you still need to switch off and take care of yourself.
Thank you so much for like that's great. Like you've got a great support system. Eh? Like yeah,
Thank
and
you.
and it's kind of difficult to come back from when you had like a shooting in your club because that on its own kills the reputation of the club. But you recovered nicely, I
Yeah.
see. Um, Tamo, are you ready? I hope you have no background sound. Tamo, he's frozen. Tamo Anguda. Tamo.
I'm here.
Yeah, you are echoing now. You are busy echoing more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So can you share one of your
Okay, I hope you're hearing
business?
me.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can
Can
hear
you hear
you.
me?
So yeah. So what challenge made you a better entrepreneur?
Okay, I'll
Tamo.
assume you can hear me. Essentially, I think Kolo covered a very, very vast array of most of the issues that we do face, definitely as entrepreneurs in terms of challenges. I'll go into maybe one or two that we have faced personally as the booth group. I think obviously knowing that you're a foreign national and getting business permits and things like that is difficult when it comes to establishing businesses in Africa, as well as
Oh my god. Tamo, what's going
I
on?
don't know what's going on. Why is my okay,
It's
my
okay now.
back?
Yes.
So
Let's
yes, for
let's keep
instance,
it on.
funding would be an issue when you're starting out, but towards the end, you kind of have to face certain challenges in order for business to move forward. Getting the right personnel has also been an issue for us. I feel. I think you're only as good as your team when it comes to entrepreneurship and the development of you as an entrepreneur. Once your business starts to grow and you're in a position of power to bring in extra hands, it's very important to bring in the right hands, people who share the right vision, people who have the same mindset as you and the vision that you've set out for your business. So I feel, yeah, that is mainly the challenges that we have faced. And the personal element and obviously the capital investment. I mean, it's taken 6 years to get you, so it's been a long ride.
Thank you so much. Cabello, are you ready?
I'm ready, Oslebo. Thank you. You know,
Okay, I'm just gonna put you on a let me just put you on a solo layout and then yeah, you can take it away.
I
thank you,
keep
Lebu.
losing you, Cyril.
Challenges that we have faced, I'd like to put it at our current status as the world, as a country. You know, when it comes to the entertainment business, where we are regulated by certain bylaws, most of our challenges currently are happening in the space where I'd like to point it out, where Liquor Board is not actually giving us much support, but they want to penalize in certain ways that they could try and minimize the current situation that we are facing as a country. You know, when we had an event, I think on the 11th of February, introducing the piano space within the Ren West. Certain things were not even clear, basically, when it comes from the liquor board, where you are told that the curfew is 12 o'clock, but then establishments should be closed by 10 o'clock. Those challenges, they need you to actually go and look actually at the clauses in terms of the bylaws and the legislation, where some of those regulations, they're not even spoken about in terms of our licenses. I would want to point out an issue where you are told that establishments should be closed at 9, but the bar should be closed at 8. That means you are operating on a daytime where your business is only operating for 5 hours. It becomes a mental challenge when it comes to staff. It becomes a mental challenge when it comes to your managers who are handling some of those clubs. They tend to become so distracted, and they believe that it's their fault, and you need to make sure that you uplift them in terms of certain things where they can't even control. The business itself needs its own way to recover. You can't mostly blame yourself as an employer. You can't blame yourself as an employee. We've faced situations when it comes to having artists that would rush into gigs because of those certain hours. I believe what happened actually to those 5 Mapiano artists was unfortunate. And I don't want to put blame to anyone, but if you look at the challenges of expecting an artist at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, you're closing. That artist driving from another club or another establishment driving to you, it becomes an issue. The challenges of business itself in terms of the club industry, where suppliers, they're not even able to supply you with the current demands in terms of the customers. Customers don't understand. You have customers where they would want a specific brand that would like to indulge in, but you couldn't get it. Challenges are hitting the economy in a big space where you end up putting measures, and you also have to introduce local brands. Local brands also, they are now being promoted in our establishments, where we have to now look into what we have in the country, what we have locally, to make sure that we push whatever challenges that we are facing. We've faced financial issues. I think when the president had closed last year in March, I was still only part of SNK before we had even thought of opening up Hulumeni in December. You know, when it closed for about 7 months, starting this thing with your own money, losing about 400 to 500,000, it killed, it demoralized a lot of things. But we made sure for all the challenges that we are facing, we need to create employment even during this pandemic. As Kholo was saying, if you are not mentally ready, and your lifestyle in terms of health is not contributing into these things, you'll make certain decisions like closing down the business. Yes, closing down the business sometimes puts pressure when there's no money, when you need to open. But then when we look at all these challenges around December, when we established Hulumeni, with the little that we had, we told ourselves that we are going to create a day vibe. We are going to make sure that we refocus our vision as a business. How do we make sure that these Amapiano artists or this kind of genre stays alive? As Kulu is saying, now the genre has even moved from Joburg as its main core. Now it's in Durban. It's moving from Durban. It's in Eastern Cape. I can see these artists, they are moving now, but their challenges, they are very vast. In certain situations, I'd even be personal about it. Some of our staff members passed on due to this COVID-19, and you still need to put these activations, remind staff, remind customers that we need to stay within the regulations of the pandemic in terms of COVID-19. But the challenges itself also build you. They build you if the team itself is united. When the team is united, we can move in a direction where we make sure that even profits, you are not looking at them as a number one, as an employer, but you make sure that you sustain the business. Sustaining the business at this time, it's very tough, but we did do our best. We did make sure that we create employment for the youth. I'll tell you openly that majority of our staff It's youth between 18 and 35, and we are pushing. We are making sure that we are creating that employment space within the entertainment industry where some of our employees, they become judged by their background in terms of families. Or why would you work in a nightclub? Nightclubs are not a space where a person can actually grow. We do also do workshops, make sure that some of our colleagues in the space start their own things. I mean, how I looked at it in Soweto, there's about 5 million residents in Soweto. And if there's 5 million residents in Soweto, and having only a few, I can name the ones that I know, my colleagues can also support in terms of your Moja Cafe, your Konka, your PDL, your Eben Grill, your Magube Njalo, your Disofing, who inspired us to be in this game. Disofing is more than 10 years in the game, and we've seen that there are opportunities there, and we need to create that employment space within the entertainment. I mean, if one pub can employ about 35 to 40 people, you've created an income in a lot of households where people benefit out of those customers that we really cherish, we really take care of, make sure when they leave they are safe. That is why you find that we have bouncers. Those bouncers, some of them we do put them through trainings. Those bouncers, we even make sure we attend meetings with the local police stations. We make sure some of our car guards that come to make sure that our customers' vehicles are safe, they do attend our CPF meetings just to check in terms of the stats of crime, what's happening. And then with this pandemic itself, it becomes an opportunity for criminals to come and rob us. It becomes an opportunity to criminals to come and take cars or theft of motor vehicles, or theft inside motor vehicles. But we make sure we put measures and employ. But I feel that the challenge, I need to put it, that we need support from the liquor board itself. We need the support from the SAPS. Once we have those support in terms of those regulations, I think the space of the nightlife shall change in the future. Because I do believe that it's not a customer who's drunk that creates violence within the space, but it is us as a community, and making sure that we step up and attend to each and every issue that has to do with crime.
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
I am done here, Oslebu.
Uh, I like the workshop part. I'd like to contribute something there because I can create a program or a project that can like help help out. But I will get in touch with you and we can share ideas, and I can just give a few of my ideas. And so I know, Kulu, you are pressed on time, right? So um, there is. I would like you to answer these two questions in one. Ne? So
Yeah.
so I want us to discuss a business opportunity within your guided space that people are not tapping into or not aware of. And then what advice would you give to your younger self and to aspiring entrepreneurs who would like to enter into this space?
Can you please repeat the first question, Mo?
Okay, okay. The first question is, what business opportunities are there in the industry that people are not aware of or are not tapping into, that you can kind of like, hey guys, look out for this, because I believe everyone has skills, but they haven't tapped into those skills so they can get into the industry. But because I'm trying to push this movement of, I know you have a skill and a talent, but I can try and help you tap into it so you can find an opportunity. But the challenge is, what can you, from your skills, how can you try and find an opportunity to make something out of your skills and talents? That's the whole idea. So that I want you to guys, because already we know for with being a promoter, bringing all these people with their skills and talent to come and display themselves. But what other opportunities are there in that space that people are not tapping into?
Sure. So I think one of them is brand building. because we don't understand which you can own a brand, call it views at 25, and it can be successful where you are, but there's big opportunities where you can make that an IP, and register it as an IP, and from there you develop certain certain collaterals where you can then expand it into becoming a franchise, and also create it in a way yokuthi you have certain SOPs, standard operation procedures and manuals that if anything happens to me today, my kids, my managers can open the document and they can carry on with the business. And that's how the other guys have created legacies and generational wealth. And that's how the other, races have become billionaires. Hello? Are you there? Mo, you there, ne?
We're still here, sir.
Oh, hello?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So I say that's how the other products. I'm gonna mention names like your Cubanas, your Capellos, used cafes, spares, whatever you name it. Even hotels, Tsoho they've created such brand IP and collateral standard operation SOPs where they've developed and they've sold it to other cities, other countries. There has to be that we need people with the strategic mind and trade marketing here to come and help our brothers and myself, Wuti. They must take us there. Why can't our establishments grow to be franchised and without us being there all the time? I want to be able to be focusing on my kids when my business are operating without being worried. Are the guys curating the right service, providing the right offerings? So there is a big gap for us. I want to be able to buy booth and put it in Mhlanga, and the guys and the guys can, whatever it is, whether it's Kabelo's establishments, and I say, Kabelo, I really like what you're doing with Kasi Empowerment. I want to buy, you can keep I'll pay you royalties for your brand, but let me put it emlazi kwamashu entuzuma, because I understand how important is township tourism. Why should I start something else when I can buy it from my brothers or even Otebo, Hotisofeng, Konka, whoever it is, so that's the gap that I see. And also from an advice perspective is that with the youth and a whole then when I was young, if I'd received the advice of just always put God first and don't be embarrassed because you are doing nightclubs, it doesn't matter, because more than anything, you are most vulnerable as someone who's in the industry, security, nightclubs, so you need God first to guide you, and don't lose also your Africanism. Don't lose who you are as Umzulu or Umsuthu or Umpedi, or whatever you are. Always understand, Uti, we are Africans at the end of the day. You must always know, Uti, you need to be able to have a balance of everything, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. You need to be able to understand, Uti, God first, your Africanism as a person. Don't lose your identity on that. And then I like what Kam was saying about push West African food. Yes, that's the beauty of us as Africans. We mustn't lose that because there's hip hop or there's something else. We must always be ourselves. Don't have an identity crisis. And find a mentor. Find a mentor. Find someone that will always just guide you and don't be and too much on your mentor. And don't ask have when you have a mentor, a lot of people do a mistake, they want to be mentored, but they don't know how to ask the right questions. And then they'll annoy someone like Ukabel, who's busy, he's got multiple businesses, Kamo, same thing, is busy. And you want to be mentored, but you can't ask the right questions. So if you want to be mentored, please ask the right questions, because sometimes you only have one chance to sit with your role model. Don't sit with your role model and don't ask the right questions, because next time he's gonna feel like you're wasting his time. So that is a 2%, 10 cents or 5 cents of my advice to the youth and people look up to, what the other entrepreneurs, the leaders out there routine, know the right question, ask the right questions, don't waste your mentor's time.
Yes, I like that, Kulu, because um, I like to ask questions because I like to know. I'm very curious. So I always try and find out what are the right questions to ask, because it's very important, because people don't have time. And as you said, you can't be asking irrelevant questions if you want to grow. You're wasting someone's time. You know what I mean? Because even though you guys are on, like,
Yeah.
time is money. Time is money. Even now, I am wasting your guys' time. You need to go make money. So so
No, it's not a
Kamo,
waste.
it's informative actually. Uh, Kamo, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Did you get the question?
Yes, I did get the question. I got the
Good.
two questions actually.
Yeah, take it away.
Okay, so first and foremost, I think what's critical to take into consideration is the opportunities that are available for me that I have noticed are quite simple. We have a very bad lack of an inability to create when it comes to products and services. I've noticed that a lot of the products and services that we are selling on behalf of do not belong to us as Black people, of which I don't want to turn it into a race discussion, but I think it's important that people who are listening or watching, they need to understand that there's a lot of things that we sell in these entertainment spaces, in these nightclubs, in these bars, that people can take advantage of. There's a lot of services that people can take advantage of. For instance, we have people who supply us with ice, or people who supply us with tissue paper, or people who supply us with cleaning materials. But all these products are not owned by our own people. The biggest opportunity is actually in the products. If you are in a space, I remember coming up in the business, what I used to do is I'll go to rival businesses and see what they have that we don't have. That once I inject or once I propose to the ownership to say, look, this is what I've seen, this is what I think we can add in terms of value here. I would then try to find myself in a space whereby if I can produce it or my colleagues can produce it, then why don't we produce it and sell to the business so that we're not just looking at living off salaries, we're looking at making some sort of income. And I think that's the main core area for me to say, look, if it's about opportunities, let's become a community of people who produce. Let's be a community of people who can compete with other products that are there. It doesn't matter how big the brand name is, it's about how well you curate it and how well you produce it and how competitively you can put it into the market. To answer the second question, which would be what would I ask, what would I advise my younger self? Wow, I was very wild when I was young. I think I'm still as wild, just about 50% less. But I feel my younger self, as Cole just say now, I think religion is very important. Understanding who you are, where you come from, and nurturing and believing in yourself is also very important. I, on the other hand, have always been a more of an extrovert than anything else. Hence, I found myself in nightclubs by the time I was 13 years old. So that gave me a little bit of an edge over other people because I found it easy to go out, interact with people who were way older than me, and then be groomed, let's say, or mentored, let's say, by people without them even noticing. I mean, some of the oldest club owners in in, in let's say Botswana, Zambia, South Africa, Zim, I've known for years based on that fact of me coming out very early, which obviously my mother hated, but I guess she kind of understands now that it was a passion thing more than anything else. But definitely, yes, I would tell my younger self to be more grounded, to be more focused, um, and to be more inclusive, and to change the narrative of the conversations that you have from a young age. I'll give you an example of my son, who's 13. Our biggest argument that we have is he's not focused on what it is that's going to build him, and he has the years on him to be a much greater version of me or even himself. If he just takes this little bit of advice that I'm giving him, that look, the way he wants to grow up is not the way he needs to grow up. He needs to grow up as a person who takes responsibility.
Yo, we lost
With
Kamo.
that said, yeah, with that said, I feel that is the major input that we're looking for. That is the major advice I'll give my younger self.
Thank you so much, Kamo. Uh, Avelo, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you, Lebu.
You can, yeah, you can take it away.
Thank you. What I saw would be an opportunity within nightclubs. So for a person that's looking at it from the outside perspective, as Kamo said, there's a lot. There's a lot, and I've went as far and identified people coming from the local community who has the skills and abilities to deliver. We must just give them a chance. For example, we speak about a graphic designer who creates a poster or a flyer for that event on a particular day. It needs talent and a skill for a person to do that and create something out of it. There's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity for that young boy who's carrying a small camera to keep memories of our establishments. I'd even like to compliment the one that we are using now called Kayla. Young man from the East End working as far as the West End. He travels an hour to make sure that he's there. When he travels, we have to make sure that we prepare permit for that person. That the young man makes sure that he even bought himself a laptop. There's opportunity in photography. There's an opportunity to that chef that's not great getting employment. That chef can come and create a particular menu that can actually be user friendly for the locals. You know, each and every location or each and every kasi has its own particular dish that they love. I know Deep Kloof Soweto, it's called Order. In Pretoria, they call it Spat. Everyone is doing Mohodu Mondays. What is specific about your Mohodu? How do we make sure that we support those upcoming chefs with their specific dish that can also be traditional and also be used in nightclubs? We have people who are doing furniture for us. There's interior designs where one of our DJs, DJ Sean 101, he did the interior design for our club in Mink from May. There's opportunity in carpentry where our bars are actually currently we are not even being sponsored by these brands. We need to upgrade our bars. Carpentry, there's opportunity. There's opportunity also in the security space because of being a bouncer doesn't mean it is a professionalism. Most of my experience in the private security when I look at the category, bouncing is not there. Most of all they call it VIP protection, SOPs. That's where we need to teach our people that bouncing is not only about the physique, but also by you looking at what is happening within the current state of the club. We have a lot of thefts of phones that are happening, especially in the election, but you need a person that's going to be very vigilant. There's opportunity where we can outsource those services. There's opportunity when it comes to branded ice. We don't want to everything now to be insourced. Branded ice, I know we're working with one guy from Naledi. He brands our ice week in, week out. There's opportunity also, as you said, in ice. We don't want to make sure that each and everything now is being owned by the company. There's opportunities in creating uniform. where people can supply us with uniform. We need winter uniform, we need summer uniform. You can't work with a jacket in summer. You can bring opportunity for those people. What I would advise myself if I was younger is not to actually follow what your parents or what your elderly in the family wish for you to be. Be who you are. Be who you are so that you can enjoy what you are doing. I mean, I was forced to join the security field by my late father, but I ended up falling in love with it. But then, if you are not going to fall in love with it, that means you'll be living in a space where you're not loving what you are doing. I'm one person who partied a lot. I started partying at the age of 13 years. You know how the streets of Soweto are when we are doing the street bashes. I loved the music. I loved looking at these underground DJs going up as far as they are going. I'm looking at your DJ Jaivan who just released, the DJ Sean just released an EP, your DJ Stokie with two albums. So what I'd advise me when I was younger is to do what you love. Don't be told to do or be an engineer or be a doctor. Do what you love, and everything from there shall fall in place. Where you need support, as Kulu said, we do a lot of things, and we don't have time sometimes to listen. But when you find an opportunity to speak to me, when you find that opportunity to have a one-on-one with me, my brother, my sister, I'll be there to listen. I'll advise where we need to advise. Obviously, when I'm already indulged, I'll give a day where we put focus on what you are saying. But please make sure that when you want to do something that you love, do it. We are there to support, and I'm making sure that I'm opening room to those who are still in varsity, those who are unemployed. We are available. You'll find us in Deep Roof in Mink, you'll find us in Hulumeni, you'll find us in all of these spaces. Maybe you'll find us in Durban, we'll come. But when you see us come, we will speak. Sometimes we are not approachable because of we have our own stresses. We don't smile all the time, but I'll make sure that when you greet me, I'll give you the same respect, the mutual respect that you give me. I think from that side, I'll end here, Lebo.
Thank you so much, Tabelo. So, guys, I'm like honestly overwhelmed and grateful for you guys taking your time to come share your stories and to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs. I don't know if you guys have some parting thoughts or something, last words nyana fela for closing. Kolo, do you have something to say? Last
On
words.
my No, on my side, I just want to thank you more for an opportunity to share the floor with such amazing entrepreneurs, leaders, influencers. It's a great honor, gents, to have been here with you guys. And and all the best to you, Mo. These are great opportunities. We give back, but it is never enough. So when we start inspiring hearts and we start inspiring the mind and influence just the culture, it helps as well. It's an over and above what we're trying to do in empowering. So it's very important for me to do such sessions. Even when I'm busy, I'll try and make time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kolo. Samo?
Uh, Thank you very much more, obviously, for the platform, for the opportunity for us to engage. I think it's always very important for young people, especially, to share ideas and be able to understand the different nature in which we all approach success. Because at the end of the day, all of us want to be successful, and all of us came into the entrepreneurial space because we want to succeed at what we do. And it's also important to share your experiences with people that, when they look at us, they look at a very glamorous lifestyle. They don't know that we don't sleep, that our voices change every 5 minutes. The phone just keeps on going off. Like now, I think I've ignored more than 100 messages already. But I
Yes.
think that's that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's what we do. It's what we've aspired to do. It's what we're pushing to do. And I think a platform like yours needs way more exposure. I think on my side, I'll try and do as much as I can to give people that opportunity to get tapped into this platform so they know what's happening every Saturday. And
Yes.
yeah, man, I just wish everyone more success. I mean, I had no idea of Hulumeni lifestyle before, but I'm keen now to obviously want to go out there and see what's going on. And I can see there's some services that I can provide there. Obviously, Kolo, you're out there in Durban. I'll see you when I come out. That's not a problem. Views is home, Rich is home, so I'm not I'm not too worried.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
Soweto's my next destination, definitely. And a little bit of advertising. Don't forget, if you're in the north today, come to Room 130. It's the day party, biggest party in the north on a Saturday. We kick it off from 2 p.m. It's going to be a Mazda, big Mazda tonight. And thank you.
Thank you, Kamo. Kabelo, our last speaker for the day.
Thank you very much, Lebu. Thank you very much to the viewers, to my colleagues. It's very inspiring to see that we are pushing even during this pandemic. Very tough as it is, especially in Gauteng, Kamo. The blue light will always
Hey,
distract you.
always.
So thank you very much for the opportunity for us to come and present ourselves as a young club, small club from the auctions, and we really appreciate it. Also a bit of marketing. Hulumeni Lifestyles operates from Thursday until Saturday. Mink operates from Friday till Monday. Doors open at 4. Obviously, you need to come with your mask. Everything will be there in
Yes.
terms of whatever you need.
Yeah,
Thank you.
standard procedure. We cannot live without these things. Guys, thank you so much. And I wish you guys all the best. And I always say to my guest speakers, I wish you some more kaching because we're in it for the kaching and the passion. And
100%.
thank you to
Yeah.
thank you to the viewers. And my last words is since I said I'm trying to push a movement, I'm challenging the viewers and people who are gonna watch this later on to write down 5 things that they enjoy doing. And from those 5 things, they must find an opportunity to make money out of it. And if they're struggling, they can holler at your girl Mo. I got you. Mo Salute has got you. I will help you tap into that because I want people to kind of like stop sitting around and complaining. You've got a skill, you've got a talent. Use that, to get a side hustle. Because what I've learned is, I don't know, from one of you guys, you mentioned that, oh, it was Kulu who said, work with what you have. Like literally, I'm working with what I have. I cannot pick up like markayeza because I believe in what I do and it's happy and I know what I can produce and execute. So yeah. And guys, thank you so much. It was lovely hosting you guys. So
Thank you.
guys, enjoy the
Okay.
day. And
Cool.
good
Thank
luck.
you.
Bye.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.